Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Miles from Pure Investments with our second video in the trading tips series. And this topic we're going to talk about today is the moving average convergence slash divergence, which is long for MACD. So this is another really popular trading tool. I had a lot of requests because some people don't understand what MACD is, and this is something that I frequently use in my technical analysis as well. So let's cut to the chase. What is MACD? So MACD focuses on three different things: momentum, trend direction, and time duration. So you might be a bit familiar with momentum and trend direction from the previous RSI video. And as we can see, the MACD produces a very similar series of lines that resembles the RSI. But this shows us some different information that can be very useful, which you can't get from RSI. So first of all, let me explain what these lines are at the bottom. We're looking down here. Okay, so first off, we want to look at this blue line. What this blue line is the calculation of the long-term EMA minus the short-term EMA. So before I move on and explain this, let me describe what EMA is. EMA stands for the exponential moving average, and this generally refers to prices that we look at. What the exponential moving average is the fast reaction towards price movement, in which fast price changes within the 30-minute 1 hour are recorded into this momentum-based trend line. So what sets EMA apart from MA, which is just the moving average, is that it shows price average at an exponential rate, because when it's constantly moving, we want to see the major changes that are happening fast in real time, because this shows us what's happening currently on the market right now. So with that in mind, this is generally a term that we use for many indicators that will be shown later in the series. So let's look back at this blue line. So we have this line, which is calculated on most trading platforms such as TradingView, Bittrex, Coinigy, etc. And this is the calculation of the long-term price EMA minus the short-term price EMA. You don't have to worry about this too much, as I base a lot of my trades off of how these patterns are looking and not what they're calculated off of, but it's good to understand what these lines do mean. So I'm going to explain this orange line down here. This orange line is the EMA of the MACD line. So this blue line is called the MACD line, and the orange is actually a calculation of the exponential moving average of this line, which I will explain later in detail and why that's important. These bars that you see down here, this is called the histogram bar. This bar plots the difference between the two lines, the blue and the orange, along the zero average line. So the zero average line is where we find the neutral area and helps us indicate which direction is positive for movement and which direction is negative for movement, as you can see the measurements right here on the side. So, what do these lines mean? We know the definition of them, but we don't know how to use them for trading. So remember the words I used in the beginning, convergence and divergence? That's what we need to look at. So when you see these lines growing apart from each other, it could look like this, or it could look subtle like this, or sometimes even if there's a lot of movement, it could look like this. It doesn't matter which direction it's facing up. If these two lines are moving away from each other, that means whatever direction that the price is moving in is going to be more volatile. And by more volatile, I mean it's going to move significantly faster in that direction. This could mean it moves up super fast or it moves down super fast. If these lines, for example, are actually moving closer to each other, so they're kind of going like this, or maybe they're going even at a steeper pace, means that the direction is going to switch up very soon, and I'll explain direction right after this. Okay, so this is where stuff gets a bit more complicated. When the blue line is under the orange line, this would be bullish. Let me write this here. So this indicates that the movement of a price is bullish right now. So, as we can see over here, the blue line is under the orange line, and that clearly shows that the price action is moving exponentially downwards. Now let's look at the opposite. I'm sorry, I meant bearish. Actually don't know why I put that. Let me fix that up. Sorry, correcting that. This would be a bullish crossover. So we got the blue line going up, and we got the orange line going under. So we can see an example here where there was a crossover in which the orange line is now going under the blue line, and we see Bitcoin rising. So actually, funny story, I called last night at this point here where I saw that the orange line was starting to cross under that blue line in the long term, which signaled that Bitcoin might be moving in a bullish sense. So at this point, I sold all my altcoins. Right here I sold all my altcoins for Bitcoin, and I stayed 100% Bitcoin, which definitely helped out because now Bitcoin is moving up exponentially. Ignore this small dip because I feel like we're going to go to the 17,000 range today. But either way, that also caused alts to fall, so this is definitely a trend that I like to use very frequently. So, now that you know which lines indicate which direction, remember blue under means bearish and orange under means bullish. Now, you may know which direction these indicate, but you might not know what when to use these and how significant they can be. So let me explain. What I generally look for is things called crossovers. When a line crosses over and changes direction. So remember how I said when lines get closer, it indicates that there's going to be a crossover in the direction? So this is what I mean here. We can see here that Bitcoin's clearly moving up, but then all of a sudden it goes down. Same can be displayed up here. So the MACD actually gives a very clear indication of a directional change for a coin's price movement. As we can see, once it crosses over from orange under to blue under, Bitcoin goes from bullish to bearish. So I tend to keep my eyes out for these crossovers because these crossovers are a good indicator for whether I should sell a coin or buy into a coin, which I used for Bitcoin at this point last night when we had this crossover here. But you need to keep in mind that not always when there's a crossover will the trend maintain. As we can see here, we had a bullish crossover in which Bitcoin went up a bit, but then that quickly turned bearish again and it went down. So I'd never put all your eggs in one basket when there's an event like this, but I'd use it with your other technical analysis to help make a better prediction. As you can see on the histogram, which plots out what the lines are doing, when we're in bearish mode, the histogram plots data that's below the zero line, which can be indicated right here. And when things are moving bullish again, it goes above the 0 line. The higher the line, the more momentum that's going on. So that's all you really need to know about MACD. If you want to access this tool on TradingView, you just click Indicators, search for MACD. I star this one because I use it quite frequently. And yeah, that'll bring it down to your chart. And this is a very powerful tool. It not only works with Bitcoin to USD, but plenty of other coins. Let's look at another example real quickly, which is SIA coin. So yeah, we can see here that when we had a bearish crossover, remember blue under orange means bearish, it started to move downwards a lot. So if you followed it at this point and ended up selling, you could have saved yourself a lot of money on this horrible crash. Again, you can see here, what I tend to look at is when a crossover is about to happen. So again, what I like to look for is when lines are moving closer to each other. So as you can see here, the lines start pointing from outwards to inwards to each other, which indicates that a crossover is going to happen very soon. So when we were at this point up here, and I saw that the lines were moving together, I realized it might be a good time to consider selling my position. And as expected, the coin movement went downwards, and I saved myself a lot of money. I was able to sell at the peak right here, and I'm looking for another good opportunity. This actually looks like the lines may cross over again soon into a bearish sense, where orange is under blue. So I might consider buying potentially in this area for maybe some more profit. So that's all you need to know about MACD. Feel free to comment suggestions on what you want the next video to be on. I'm hoping to get at least 2 videos per week out so that I can easily explain this material to you guys, because as always, education in the crypto market is very important, and it will help you make better decisions on your trades. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next one.